Good evening, my fair lady. I know that it's decorum for one of your sisters to introduce me, but they seem a bit preoccupied for the moment. And I dare say that all of them will be swept up with partners for the rest of the night. Oh, my apologies, miss. I did not mean that in the slight. I know not of any lady, no matter how fair, that never went without a partner. Oh, come now, I hardly think that you should feel ashamed of it. At any rate, I have been told that you much prefer the company of books. Very wise of you, I think. After all, reading offers a far less in the way of step-toes. As I'm sure you can tell, I have never been much inclined to balls myself. There is far too much fanfare, and you can never get to know somebody properly at the ball, only the footwork. And I think there are just as many wonderful ladies with club toes, don't you? You are quite right. I have never been much of a dancer myself. How did you ever guess? Was it my general disdain for balls, or did you notice that I have been stuck to that back doorway all evening? You will have to forgive me. I know that I ought not talk with such scorn, especially when your father has been kind enough to host me. But one cannot help but wish that there were quieter manners for entertaining large groups of people. Yes, libraries can be just as beautiful as ballrooms, and far less noisy. Well, your sisters might disagree. However, I doubt any of them have reflected on the matter as much as you have. I did not intend to imply that you are often partnerless, miss. I merely meant to suggest that. Though I've only known you for a short time, and I've gathered that you are particularly thoughtful. At any rate, I approached you to ask if you might care for a walk to escape the frivolity of this whole affair for a moment. Admittedly, in speaking with you, I have become decreasingly confident in the success of my endeavor. But if you'll still have me... Thank you, miss. I will much enjoy your company. Care to show me to the garden? Yes, I suppose that it would have been proper for me to speak with your father first, but I assume that you would not mind. And your eyes tell me that I'm correct. It's quite all right. You don't need to hide your hatred of him for me. I've never found disrespect to be unbecoming. At least not when that disrespect is earned. And he has more than earned it. Even in the 3 days that I've known him, it has become apparent that he favors your sisters. He speaks so highly of them, while you so often seem to remain an afterthought. I know it's not my place to speak of such things, but I believe it to be true. I can tell that your mind knows it as well, even if your lips would not dare speak of it. I saw that dirty look you gave him when you asked you to stop playing the piano. You wanted to tell him off. I wish that you would have too. I thought your playing was lovely. I know that he wanted to give your sisters a turn, but she was hardly ready to perform for company. She only knew the simple tunes and the quiet melodies. They were all the same ones I've heard young ladies play in every parlor. Yes, the songs are pleasant, but common. Most ladies only ever learn the few verses they need to delight some gentleman who's already far too taken with them. But not you, though. You must be a natural. Otherwise, you would have been practicing for ages to learn songs as complex. Oh, so it was practice. Well, that's all the more admirable. After all, talent is given, but perseverance is chosen. Therefore, the latter is much better to hold, but far more difficult to attain. You think that I'm merely being polite, but I assure you that I'm not. I am not one to lie, especially not to the night air, and a woman that I deeply admire. I told you that my lips will not honor any omissions tonight. So, I see no reason to conceal the fact that I admire you. Besides, someone must compensate for your family's indifference towards you. It seems such a shame to have your talents ignored. I know that they find you plain, but you certainly are not in terms of perseverance. Oh, was there another sense of plain that you were worried about? Perhaps it's a bit unconventional of me, but I have never looked kindly on men who compare their daughters' appearances. Beauty is far too subjective of a matter, and it's better judged by warm hearts than critical eyes. I would never call you plain, though. I must be honest. Please excuse my nerves. I think your family lacked forethought by attempting to pair me with your younger sister. While she is perfectly nice, as the elder, you should have been chosen first. It would have been the proper thing to do. And it would have been the choice I would have preferred. Although my time has been brief, I am certain that your sister and I would not be a good match. However, I would quite like to dance with you. Yes, I was being honest when I said I detested dancing, but I don't think that I would mind it half as much with you in my arms. No, there's no need to go back inside. The moonlight is much better company than pry guys. And your company is much better than either. So, may I have your hand? Thank you, my dear. Now, shall we entertain the stars?